Hi guys, welcome to Baka Burrito. I'm Devin, and on today's episode of Breakfast Burrito, I have a special segment that I'd like to call Romance Review, but more so than that, it's similar. It's going to be structured in a similar way to a list, and I'm going to be listing reasons why you should watch a specific romance anime. Um, that being said, I just want to give you guys a little bit of background. I am like a huge fan of the romance genre in general, as well as horror genre and the occasional action movie. That's my primary source of media from like regular movies and TV shows. Um, that being said, when it comes to anime, I love slice of life and romance anime almost. No, I definitely love it more than I like shonen. Um, However, I do consume more shonen than I consume romance anime. I read a lot of light novels and such. Um, so that's just a little bit of backstory. Some of my personal favorites would have to be something like, Anohana, Yuna of the Dawn, Inuyasha, Toradora, Chunibyo, Beastar, Servant X Service, Spy X Family, and today's topic, Oregairu. Um, and I do hope to touch on all of those specific anime in the future, but again, that'll be for a later discussion. So on today's episode of Romantic Review, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started on reasons why you should watch Oregairu. Um, so the first thing I would like to touch upon is the fact that romance anime in general um, really thrive most off of the drama and the character work. If a show has bad characters, it won't really, it doesn't stick no matter how well written it is. If the characters don't land for you, there's nothing you can do about it. So this show is subject to the fact that you may not relate to certain characters because the main character, Hikigaya Hachiman, is a self-proclaimed loner and he's not really the coolest guy. Now, I do still think that there are characters there for everyone. There's the hardworking, strong front female lead, Yukino, and then there's the bubbly, popular girl, Yui Gahama. You also have Hayato, the class president. He's super cool, super chill as a recurring side character, and there are many others. So I think that the characters in the show they fit into archetypes and character tropes that really work for almost anyone. However, if you don't enjoy the main cast, you probably won't enjoy the show. But I do recommend sticking it out through at least like 2 or 3 episodes just to get a feel for it, because I feel like at the end of the day, all of these characters leave the show with something so necessary to who they are as a person that you'd be doing yourself a disservice by missing it. For example, Hikigaya Hachiman starts off the show as a loner who tries to handle everything himself, and he ends up realizing that it's it's not a bad thing to rely on other people or to have friends. And this is shown in a scene where he has multiple characters who he's helped in the past or talked or become friendly with in the past, who come to his aid in his time of need. I think that this show really does handle the aspect of interpersonal relationships very well, and all of their characters have this profound moment of development for each of them, even the side characters. Now, the next point I would like to touch upon is the female leads. Now, it's no secret that a lot of media fails to write compelling female characters, and I think that's a disservice to most genres. Nobody really likes a romance story where the girl is not an active participant, if you will, or or more of a passive force is, I guess, the expression I'm looking for. I dislike when they are subject to the plot rather than progressing the plot themselves or causing like if they're causing the drama, that's fine. If they're not an active participant in the story and they're just there as a set piece, I don't like that. So I think that this show handles that very well. I don't think any characters are really a set piece other than the video game club, and they're three guys who aren't really involved in the story too often. So you have Yukino and Yuigahama, who are the main female characters. And I think it's very important to note that they're such deep characters that they drive the plot more so than Hikigaya. Um, Whereas Hikigaya does a lot of like the air quote problem solving, they fuel the character drama and the subplots as well. You have Yui Gahama, who thrives to be popular, who thrives to be liked by people, and in a way where she hides her feelings for Hikigaya for most of the series because of the fact that, you know, he's not cool. He's kind of a loner, kind of a loser, for lack of a better term. And she really starts to open up and come into her own towards like the end of season 1, beginning of season 2, when she starts realizing like if she starts to be more selfish, as she puts it, if she starts to be more selfish, she can get things she wants. She can be happy, and you know, it ensues that there is a love triangle. So it can't always work out for everyone, and that point brings me to Yukino. Like I said before, she presents as a very strong female character, quiet, reserved, cold, stoic, logical, that type of character. But in actuality, she's really insecure about quite a few things. Mostly her family, because she comes from a wealthy family that owns a business that she would like to take over, but she's not. Since she's second born and she doesn't think that she's good enough, she has no way of presenting the thought of working for the company to her mother, or her parents or her sister. Um, and I think that that's really interesting because of the fact that if she can't, in her head, if she can't solve minor issues, then she has no right to work and lead this company in the future. So all of her actions are very future oriented goals. And I really appreciate that because it shows that aside from the main plot that's going on, she has an active goal that, I mean, we don't ever see that, but that active goal is really the driving force for most of her character, and it is a good driving motivation, and it explains a lot of things. That all of that being said, these two characters aren't the only strong female characters. You have the teacher, who is probably one of the best mentor characters in all of anime, and I'd almost go so far as to say in all of media, because she really uses her psychology background to denote that, like, identify what these kids need, because she recognizes that they're in a youthful time of their life and they're wasting it in a sense where they should be experiencing life, experiencing happiness, experiencing friends, but they're also caught up in their immature views of life and the way it works that they aren't making any progress or headway in those key aspects of their life and their development. So she recognizes for their own good that they should be. That's why she forces them into the club together, essentially. She has ulterior motives, but she does it for the good of the characters because she cares about them, because she is genuinely a good teacher. Um, Another point I'd like to touch on is the fact that most of the things are low stakes. The things like the school dance, the sports festival, the concert, the Christmas festival, etc., etc. All of these things are so low stakes that, because in the grand scheme of things, they're not really going to matter. But the things that they treat as high stakes are the characters' emotions and the way they feel. And as a character-driven narrative, it's very important to have characters that we feel stakes for. So by us not really being, by us caring so much about the characters, it makes these low stakes situations feel as though they're greater than they are. And I really appreciate that because at the end of the day, how these characters feel directly correlates to our enjoyment of this series, our what we take away from this series, if you will. If it was just poorly written and not character driven, it would just be, oh, they're trying to make this sports festival work. Oh, they're trying to make this concert work. So the way they delve into the way all of the characters are feeling, and thus they try to solve the problems based on their own emotions, based on their own life experience, that's something that we do in real life. We use anecdotal evidence, for the most part, to solve problems in our lives because history has taught us this thing. And what the show is really trying to show us is that you can't do that. Um, there may be an approach you never thought of. There may be a better way if you have other people help you. If you have all of these different perspectives to help your view of the problem, then you can solve it. And to go along with that point, I do think it's very important to note that since the romance is only it's a subplot, it's the main subplot, but like this show can really take liberties in how it deals with problem solving, character interaction, and such. And I find that there are instances where it's more so about the friendship, more so about this journey, more so about making these memories together than it is about, oh, I love you and such. So the last thing I'd like to touch upon about this show is the fact that if you enjoy like the high school setting in any of the in any type of media, you'll enjoy this because it is a more realistic view of high school, and not from like the popular kids' point of view. It's really towards like, you know, if us like more so from a social outcast point of view. But you do have instances of, you know, these characters aren't the only people who are going through things. You have more popular characters who have stakes invested as well, like Hayato. He's the most popular kid in the class, and you know he feels that his friends shouldn't rely on him so much to make decisions. He doesn't want to be as nice as he's forced to be because of his reputation. He wishes he could just be who he is all the time, and he can't do that because if he lets down his facade, then things fall apart. And I think that because of the themes of this show, facades being genuine, authenticity, um, this show can really touch a lot of bases. And like I said, it's not going to be for everyone, but I really do think it's a very enjoyable experience. And so I think all of you should go ahead and check out Oregairu, my team romantic comedy snafu. Um, I highly recommend it. I gave it a 10 out of 10 on my anime list. Go ahead and leave a like and a comment down below of what you'd like to hear next. And go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy our content. I've been Devin. Have a good one.